everybody. Welcome to the Country Creator Podcast. I am Chris from 2911, and I let everybody else introduce themselves.
I'm Gary from Britton Farms.
I'm
Greg
Marty from the Dominate.
And I'm Greg from Buddy Greg Farms.
All right. Well, hope everybody is having a great evening, and we're here to talk all things tractor, homesteading, projects, animal, YouTube, anything. So if y'all have questions, we can see from everybody's YouTube channel where you're streaming from, and so we can ask some questions and things like that. So I'll just tell you what my channel is kind of up to, and we'll just kind of go around the room. So we are at 2911 Homestead. We are currently a 2-state homestead. We are building a homestead in East Tennessee on 23 acres, but we also do a lot of projects at our suburban homestead in North Georgia. So you'll see a lot of projects on our channel for that. And so I'll hand it over to Marty to tell you a little bit about his channel. A lot of projects on our channel for that. And so I'll hand it over to
I don't know if he heard you.
Oh, go ahead, Marty. Tell us a little bit about your channel.
Well, I have a little humble channel. My wife and I own 10 acres, and we lease 280 more. And my channel is basically working with tractors and equipment. We have miles of trails around here that you have to stay on top of them constantly, or they get out of control. And we do a lot of deer hunting on the lease and maintaining the land. And it's basically a year-round ordeal, all seasons. I like to throw in some reviews and operation on maintenance items for the tractors. I have 2 TYM tractors, a John Deere and an International, and keeps me busy, believe me.
Awesome. All right, Gary, tell us a little bit about you and your horse rescue.
Okay. Yeah, we got, it's me and my wife here. We have about 110 acres. We do videos on our cutting the hay for the horses, maintaining the horses. Right now we're in a deal where we're getting a shipping container donated, and we're trying to work on that when the heat will let us. It's kind of hot right now, but we're clearing out a spot like that for that. We're going to build some corrals and some working stables for them. That way, when we do get new rescues in, we can kind of have like a one-on-one with the horse, like before and after of it. And then we have a TYM T654 that we use here on the channel.
Awesome. And you, Greg, what do you get up to?
Well, just got my 96 Ford up and running today, which is exciting because it's been a while. And then the deal with the pole barn has just been a dragging on all summer long, good couple months, and we're gaining on that. So the big thing, though, that made me pretty happy today was to have that 96 Ford running so that I can drive it around and use it. And then, of course, we're making plans now to go to Equip Expo.
Yes. Yeah, the Equip Expo is a really cool event in Louisville that we go to, and we get to test out equipment and video it for y'all, and it's a really fun time. So I didn't mention what tractors I have. So I have 2 tractors. I have 3 tractors. One's an old one, but I have the newer tractors. I have a 2025 2515H TYM, and I have a 2020 LS MT352, and then I have a 1970-ish, maybe 71, 72 Ford 3000. Probably my favorite tractor of the fleet just because it's old. Love that tractor. Starts up every time.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, I've got a 4058 is what I'm using.
4058 cab, right? And then Marty, you've got a 4058 open station.
Open station, yes.
Awesome. So if you have questions about so we all have TYMs. So if you have any questions about TYMs, but we're all pretty knowledgeable about a lot of tractors. And so if you have any questions, feel free to comment and we can see the comments.
Yeah, the 4058 is my second TYM. I had a 474 cab before that. And then before that, I had a 25 horse McCormick. And before that, I had a 25 horse Kubota.
Excellent.
So,
okay. So I have some questions that
okay.
I'm gonna ask.
Oh boy.
What attachment does everybody think attachment implement is in the tractor world is overrated?
Overrated.
Overrated.
Like you could just get away with not having it.
Jeepers. Maybe
I love all of mine.
Yeah, me too. But I you know what? I find my back blade doesn't get used near as much anymore now that I have other options.
So are you talking like a back scraper blade or are you talking about a box blade? Like,
No,
like,
just a blade.
Yeah.
Just a blade.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. That was probably mine. When you have other options.
Mm-hmm.
And the land plane is probably going to put the box blade obsolete before long, I think, because it'll do basically the same thing, but a little bit better.
I wish I had a land plane over my box blade. Now.
Well, what about the thought though of wanting to move dirt from one area to another based on so the thing that makes a box scraper, I think, so much more universal and better is the hydraulic center link. If you had a hydraulic center link, it'd be hard to beat that for moving dirt and clearing. Like I used it to clear and that's the first time I ever used a box blade to clear my pad for the pole barn, getting the sod and stuff off. So I had to move a lot of material, and that was nice to be able to angle that just right so it would carry the material further.
So
yeah, that's very true.
So I think, and go ahead, Marty. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say a box blade gathers and holds more material and moves it further.
Yeah.
I haven't used my straight blade. I couldn't tell you when. My son has used it at his house 22 miles away before I have, even though I have it back. And I bought it in 1991. If your tractor doesn't have down pressure, then it's just skimming along on the top of the ground anyway. If you had a hydraulic top link, that would help some, could angle the blade inward. But box blade, way more efficient than a straight blade.
Yeah, that's true. So I have an Ironcraft 6-foot box blade that I've used a few times, and I have a hydraulic top link on both tractors. I would love a hydraulic side link. If I had a hydraulic side link, I think a blade for some things that I do with the fixing the road, like making some of my ditches with it, like digging those out and then keeping them clear. Maybe with a regular scraper blade, which I have one of those too that I got at an auction. But I probably would never pay like a full retail price for a scraper blade.
You can probably find them on Marketplace pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I do like Gary's idea though of the land plane because we've got a gravel driveway and most people I know around here have a gravel driveway, and that looks like that'd just be just the greatest thing since sliced bread for maintaining the driveway.
Yeah, and then if you had a side link, you could create your crown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have one of those, Gary, or not?
I did have a box blade. I don't got a land plane, but my box blade was for my 40 horse Massey, and it was like 4 foot. And so I sold my box blades. So I'm gonna try to get a land plane. Either that or get me like a 6 or 7 foot box blade.
That
Well,
grader blade is good at crowning a driveway
mhm.
or repairing one. You can let most tractors have an adjustable side length of some type, whether it's a screw type or hydraulic or whatever. It will lower down, and you can angle that blade to drop it down and pull your material 3-4 inches deep and pull it back, towards the center. It works great for that, but personally, I don't have a need for that.
Yeah.
All my trails have to stay virtually flat.
And that's all that like we're all in different areas of the country. I mean, Marty, you and Gary are the closest together, and probably have, but still different topographies.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about what your need is. So I got KH tractors saying, "Yep, use a angle blade regularly."
Yeah, I've seen him use his
Yeah,
angle blade. That guy's quite an operator. He is. He's
yes.
got the
He's
9-foot version of my backhoe. I've got the 8-foot, and he's got the
okay.
9-foot. And man, he can run that backhoe. It's very impressive
Yeah,
to watch his videos.
I'm not great at running my backhoe just yet. I'm still a little jerky.
Oh, hey, Jeremy. Good evening.
Look at that.
Well,
All right.
I found with my backhoe, so the thing is very precision and very nice. This one from Farmery, but with the travelers in it. So my Schaefer's guy wasn't available; he was camping. So I put in travelers hydraulic oil in it, and so I could just get using it. And I am going to be changing over to Schaefer's because as soon as that thing gets hot from using, so you get half-hour use time. It's jerky, and that's because you're trying to compress foam versus where you have a good oil in there, and the good oil isn't going to do that. It isn't going to foam up on you. It's going to stay, a liquid, and you'll have the hydraulic power. So I'll be making that change, and I guarantee that backhoe will be working way better than it is right now.
So hydraulic oil tends to be a big controversy in the tractor world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Depends
Sure
on who
does.
you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know Marty, you know a lot. Like you post a lot about when people ask about hydraulic oil and stuff like that. What and like I have buckets of travelers just on hand. Like that's what I can get locally.
Mm-hmm.
I've not done a full. I don't have enough hours to do a full replacement of my hydraulic oil on the 2515 yet. I've replaced the filter, but so like, what is the big controversy over travelers?
the biggest controversy is cost. People people nowadays don't believe there's a big difference between this brand A, B, C, or D. Okay, if A costs $49.95 all the way through D, and brand D costs $159 for the same 5 gallons, they think it's snake oil, or they don't see the benefit in spending more money for that higher priced oil.
Yep.
But the underlying fact is the quality of oil. Okay, a lot of people say oil is oil. That's the furthest from the truth. You have a base oil you start with. You have additives. That's it. Okay, base oil and additives. That's it. Now, here's where the kicker. The kicker is what exactly are those additives being added, and what level or tier of quality are those additives going in that base oil. Now, there's basically three types of base oils. You have conventional, you have semi-synthetic, and you have full synthetic. Let me add four. Okay, there's a thing called hydrocracked, and there's a thing called true full synthetic, which is a PAO ester base. Any PAO ester base is going to be your genuine man-made full synthetic. The hydrocracked oils say full synthetic, but they're actually conventional oils that's been hydrocracked to strengthen their molecular structure to make them into a full synthetic behavior. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get from conventional brand A and a PAO ester base brand D, there is a ginormous difference in the operability of that fluid in your equipment. For instance, and you rang the wrong bell because I could talk about a fluid for
I know.
three or 4 hours, but I wanted, when I bought my TYM T474 was my very first brand new tractor. Everything else I've had was used or borrowed or whatever. And I wanted the very best that I could afford at my 50-hour service. I did a lot of research, and I decided Mobile Delvac tractor hydraulic fluid was the best that I could get a hold of for the price. And I did have a budget. I'm not a rich man, I push high dollar stuff sometimes, but there's a reason for that. There's a long-term reason for that, not short-term. Anyway, I decided on Mobile Delvac. One thing led to another. I did videos on that showing the difference because I was amazed. It's hard to amaze me, but I was amazed at the difference. And I sang about that so much, I ended up making that a household name. Now, no matter where you look, you see people saying Mobile Delvac. Well, no, there was two people, three counting myself, that I knew that used Mobile Delvac at the time. And it was great stuff. I used it for almost 3 years in my T474. Well, everybody knows that Mobile Delvac got harder and harder to find. And when you did find it, it was super expensive, almost the same price as the upper tier that you could get, like Shapers or Triax or Amsoil or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I just not going to do that. I'm not going to pay, when I paid $79 for 5 gallons, I'm not going to pay $140 for the same stuff again. I'll find something better if I got to spend that much money. So I went into a rabbit hole and came out 3 days later, and I got in contact with Triax, and because I had a lot of questions. You could tell I like to talk, and I have lots of questions. But I had lots of questions, and I got basically sent to their petroleum engineers. And that's exactly who I wanted to talk with and find out this information. So I took a chance. I had already been using some Triax stuff prior to this, mainly heavy gear oils and things like that. But lo and behold, the Triax full synthetic ended up being astonishingly better than Mobile Delvac, which just blew my mind. I didn't think you could get any better than that. And as far as noise, number one, the hydraulics was instantly smoother. I mean, it was like I had a brand new tractor. I mean, a different tractor. Honestly, it just blew me away about that. But basically, to answer your original question, the differences are the quality of the things that go in it and how they are engineered to do things like that. One more thing, and I will shut up about that, I promise. But if you take the cheapest fluid you can get a hold of, and I'm not naming names, but let's go to your local farm store and they got something on sale for $39.95, regular price 50 for 5 gallons. Okay, will it work? Yes. Will it work long term without harming your tractor? That depends. That depends on what it's rated. Most all TYM tractors and the Legacy Branson all require GL4. GL4 is not a type. I've had private arguments, and I don't argue with people. I tell them facts and whatever. See you later. But GL4 is a wear specification. It is not a fluid specification, and I think a lot of people get hung up on that. It's basically an anti-wear between difference between GL4 and GL5. GL4 protects those softer metals like bronze, brass. There's some more, but GL5 fluids have a more robust and aggressive anti-wear. That if you buy a cheap fluid that doesn't use high dollar additives in it, they will eat away at those soft metals, those bushings, those bearing plates, and all sorts of things that could go wrong and do go wrong in the long term. And then of course the owner, when the tractor tears up 3-4 years down the road, they blame the tractor. Well, guess what, Bubba? It's the fluid you use for your 50-hour service that you was trying to save money on. Now look what it's fixing to cost you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny that you mentioned that on the 2515, when I went to do the service, I contacted the dealership that I bought it from, got all my filters and everything, and I talked to them about the hydraulic, fluid, and they said even at the 50-hour service on the TYN on the 2515 to just change the filters, because that's what they would do. That's what they would do. So they were like at 150 hours, then change your fluid, so that's what I did.
And that makes sense to me too, because 50 hours, you got a lot of parts that haven't even been used on the tractor to break in. So, right. It makes sense to change out the filters and then change the fluid later.
Yeah. And I got one of those vacuum things, so I didn't lose very much. I didn't lose.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's expensive, but
yes,
but it worked. And if y'all watched my video of doing my oil change on the TYM, I ordered the filter and they sent me a fuel filter, and I had already drained the oil. So I put new oil in and put the old filter back on, and they sent me a new one. And then I was able to use the vacuum and didn't lose any oil, put the new oil filter on. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is I have personally seen my own tractor had metal sheen in my hydraulic fluid.
Oh yeah.
And especially my front axle. My front axle came with hydraulic tractor fluid in it. It didn't have gear oil, and many of them do. Many of them do come with hydraulic fluid to kind of push that break-in period along faster, and then switch over to regular 80W 90 or whatever your tractor requires.
Mm-hmm.
But people ask me that very question all the time. Do I really have to dump all this fluid? 50 hours? Yes, you do. Would you rather take a chance? Do you want to gamble? Do you want to gamble the lifeblood of your tractor at your very first service? And I'm not saying this to make anybody feel bad. I'm saying what I have experienced and what I have helped other people do. And the argument is the current filters that are on there will catch anything that comes loose, right? And then theoretically that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But what most people, I'm not a tribologist, okay? I've been called that. In a jokingly way, I say I am an amateur tribologist, which is a study of friction and fluids. But what a lot of people don't understand is those very fine micronic particles will go right slap through that screen, suction screen. They will also go through that suction filter if you have a spin on. If
Mhm.
unless the micron level gets way down there around 2 to 4, they're going through. And if you don't dump that fluid, those 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 micron size particles are still in there, still going through your system every time you start that tractor.
Hmm.
So my advice to people when they ask me that question is dump the fluid, replace it. Either go with something better or go with something that is bona fide rated for what the manufacturer calls for. And I'm not just talking about TYM. I get questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything but vent. I haven't ever gotten a vent question, but uh, but that's my advice to them. You know, you get one chance when you have a new tractor. You have one chance to do it right at the very beginning. You will
Mhm.
never ever get another 50 hours service chance again.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see, when
Hey,
I got
Chris.
mine, I used to put about 50 hours on it within the first 2 weeks.
It took
But
me a while.
Yeah, it
we got
takes
to
Took,
me.
the
took me a
basics.
month and a half.
Yeah, it's true. Takes me a good almost 6 months probably, depending on if we're plowing snow or not.
I have 117 hours on it in a year. So
Not
I've got
bad.
605, I think, on my T654.
I think I'm almost 200 on the 4058.
now the LS has got almost 500, but I've only put 20 hours on that. So most of that was the guy I bought it from.
Hey,
You
Chris, do you
bought that
know?
from your friend, right?
Yeah,
The LS.
yeah.
Is there a way to share a video from one of our screens, or you know,
You can do a screen share if you need to.
how do you do that?
There's a little screen with a plus sign in the middle next to the.
Oh, yeah, it says present or
Yep.
present. Let me show you guys something a buddy of mine made.
Okay.
Here, it'll be. I got it shortened down. I think pretty good.
Let's see.
Uh,
I don't know what'll happen, but we'll find out.
oh wait a minute. Go ahead. I better download it to the computer first.
Okay.
Live and learn.
Yeah.
This is
Hey,
all new to us, everybody.
yeah. This is all new to us.
Um, yeah. So I'm about to do the 500-hour service on the LS. And then I just did the second oil change on the TYM. But the 2515, everybody's complaint is how much it winds on the hydrostat. But I have heard people put the best hydraulic oil in the 2515, and it still winds. So.
Yeah, that 2515 or all of the 15 series. That particular hydrostat pump and transmission is very loud.
Yeah.
It's just the design of it.
Yeah.
I found that out by accident helping someone.
It doesn't bother me. I wear ear protection, so I don't even hear it.
The deal about the noise and some like my T474, it was screaming like a wildcat before my 50-hour service, which most of them do. And then I switched to mobile Devac, and they got a lot quieter, and it shifted better. Uh, a lot of times, noise is related to wear, but not in all cases. But generally speaking, noise equals friction. Friction equals wear.
Right. In a car that you would hear that noise, you'd be like, oh, I've got wheel bearings going bad, or I've got brake pads going bad.
But
yeah.
with the hydrostatic transmission, you have a swash plate, and I don't know if you know exactly how hydrostatic works, but there's a tilted plate, and it has a bunch of valves on it that's spring loaded and hydraulically operated. And as it spins, it pivots this way. Let me do this. Back. If you want to go forward, it goes like this. You neutral backwards. I'm dubbed that down a lot, but as it's doing that, it's spinning round and round. And every time it comes to the top, the valves either open or close. They push in, push out, and they're right next to each other. Depending on the situation, it could be 12 of them on there, or it could be 24 of them valves. But every time it makes a revolution, one end or the other pushes out as it's spinning real fast. And that fluid is constantly, the hydrostatic pump is pumping that fluid through that swash plate. And that's what makes it move, is that hydraulic fluid. If you didn't have fluid, you wouldn't move anywhere because them little valves in that swash plate couldn't move. But that's where all the noise is coming from. That swash plate spinning around and around, and then valves coming in and out all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you have a cheap fluid, it's going to be loud no matter what you do. And they're inherently loud anyway because of their operation. But if you have a fluid that reduces a lot of friction, it will also reduce that noise. It also will greatly reduce wear because of that fact. But anyway, that's my 2 cents for today.
All right, Greg, I see your video. I'm going to add it to the stage.
Okay.
What it's going to do, it's going to pull all the air out of the system. See if it loses any fluids. Oh, really? Trailer's really bubbled up quick. Chafers isn't too bad at all. Oh boy, look at that. Travelers is looking like Woodbury. Kubota's pretty foamy. Holy cow. Foam is not good, guys.
Wow.
Holy cow.
And so that's what I'm feeling in that backhoe, I believe, when things get warmed up.
That's not good. Kubota's, oh my gosh, that failed out too. But look at the Travelers. Holy smokes.
A good quality
So
oil
bad it's mixing
makes a
in
big
with the
difference in
Chafers.
these tractors and
They just
equipment we're
keep going.
using.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
That's exactly what happened to our John Deere.
God,
Is it?
guys, I hope you're not using cheap fluids, because this is the difference. Even the Kubota's finally settled out. If you get
So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys.
That's a great visual.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened to our 5103. It sprung a leak and a lot of the fluid leaked out. And my father-in-law bought that tractor, 2015, I think. It's 2006 model, but he bought it used from a friend. Anyway, it sprung a leak, lost a lot of fluid, and some cheap fluid was put back in it. That's exactly what happened to it. Aerated. Every time it would, about 30, 40 minutes after operating it, fluid would get warm, and the hydraulics on it were just ignorant.
Yep. Well, and that's why I'm looking forward to changing out the backhoe stuff. It's going to take 3 gallons of oil to replace 3 to 4 gallons. I can't even remember, but I'm going to get that changed because I know that's a good quality piece of equipment that Farmery put out there, and I want to be able to show it in that light when I'm, doing videos with it and whatnot. So
I tried the tree puller on the LS.
Oh, okay.
I will say it worked better than with that third function that it did with the third function on the TYN.
Oh, okay. So you got a little more flow, you think?
I think I got a little bit more flow. Obviously, the LS is twice the horsepower.
Yeah, more horsepower. Yep.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. That's in my video this week. It didn't, like, the TYM kept blowing a fuse on that solenoid on the third function.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's what was happening. Like it would open and close it just fine,
Mm-hmm.
but after I would cycle it maybe once or twice, it would blow that fuse at the battery on the solenoid from the third function.
Well, when you get a chance, I'd like to see a video on that being used because it's something I'm interested in getting myself.
We'll watch
Here.
my video Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
That's watching Sunday.
You heard it here. Heard it here first.
It here. Yeah, my video on Sunday is me using the tree puller.
Is that where you were at this weekend?
No, I did it here. So I had a bunch
okay.
of trees to pull out. And I was only doing I cut the tree down. I mean, they were just hanging over the driveway. So, I mean, they were only maybe 3.5 inch, 4 inch. But I showed the root ball. I mean, it was a pretty good root ball that it pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
I did 4 of them. So, yeah, that was just a marketplace find too.
Nice.
I wonder if that's because that was a true third function and not the diverter.
So both of those tractors have a true third function. Both of the tractors have an WR long third function.
Oh, okay. Were you thinking, Gary? Were you thinking that if it had a diverter, it'd be more flow because it's coming from the?
Yeah, because Evan used one on his, and it didn't seem to have no problem. But his was a diverter.
Yeah,
it wasn't a true third function.
His 2015, he's got the push the button and then the curl changes to the clamp.
So I was wondering if that had something to do with it.
Maybe
Marty might be able to answer that.
But the LS, I mean, the LS has got more horsepower.
Yeah.
What's the gallons per minute on that LS?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That makes a big difference, knowing what the GPM is.
Let's go to our favorite. MT352. It's the tractor yard. What is that site that we all go to? Can't think of it now. That has all the specs on all the tractors.
You talking Brock's friend from Jake from the tractor yard?
Nope.
Okay.
There's a site I use.
What's your model? I'll look it up.
It's MT352.
352?
Yeah.
Now mine is like a 16.1 on my T654.
So and then the 352 is a 52 horsepower.
And mine's 67.
So mine's probably what, maybe 12, 13.
So yeah, probably pretty close to that because that 67 one is a 16.1. And I think it holds, mine has I want to say 12 gallons, 12 to 13 gallons.
Okay.
8.2, does that sound right?
That doesn't sound right.
That don't sound right to me at all.
That's a pretty good amount of flow.
8.2 on a 52 horsepower tractor?
Yeah,
on a 50 horse.
That's kind of low, I think.
Yeah.
On the 2515, that's good.
That's what I was thinking when we talked about. I get confused here.
No, 2515, that's right. That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on my 67, it's 16.1 on my T654.
Is that a hydro, Chris?
No. Nope.
I'm sorry?
No.
It's a shuttle?
Yes.
All right, the total is 12.3. You have an implement flow
That's
of
what we were
8.2.
thinking.
That sounds better. Yeah, that's a shuttle. I don't think that came in a hydrostat. Maybe it did.
They put a bigger pump on the hydrostat. It's 14.3.
Oh. Yeah.
But your power steering takes up 4 gallons per minute of that, so you're left with 8.2.
Okay. Yeah, for whatever reason, it did blow the fuse on that tractor. But
That's nice.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's a grounding problem or something on that tractor that you had an issue.
You know what? That could be it. Yeah, I had to
All
find a
else fails.
to put it.
Mhm. Yeah, because it's so new, and they get wet and they get muddy, and so yeah, you can always think that.
And so the funny thing, I've never had a problem with it doing it with the grapple.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, and I've used the grapple a good bit. And so that was the first time that I was using the tree puller, and then it stopped working. So I thought the cylinder got blown, because I was like, I don't know the history of this thing or whatever. So I was like, looks like I'm rebuilding a cylinder. New thing to learn.
I can tell you what my dad always told me. It was a nut loose between the steering wheel and the seat.
And so I was like, well, I just took it off, and I was like, I'll deal with it later. And then I went to go use my grapple, and the third function wouldn't work. And I was like, what? And I was like, what could it be? And I was like, I don't know, like, what happened. And so I'm like, I'm Googling, I'm thinking, and I'm like, the fuse. So I went and, because the WR Long has a inline fuse up to the battery. And so I looked at that, and it was a 10 amp fuse, maybe a 20 amp fuse. I can't remember what it was. It had blown.
I see. I got an interesting job proposition yesterday for the 4058.
Okay.
So it may have me going to buy an Ironcraft front grapple. I've been wanting a grapple. Now I may have a use for it. My mother-in-law has a building on her property that she wants torn down, and she went to hire it out for a contractor, and the contractor priced it at $20,000 to tear that thing down.
Man,
And
you'll
I'm
do
like,
it. You'll do it for a quarter.
I'll do it for a grapple.
I'll do it for a grapple.
A grapple
Right.
and diesel fuel.
Now my grapple that you see on my videos, that's an Ironcraft.
Yeah.
So I have two. Like, I got a grapple with the LS. I have an Ironcraft. I can never know. So the two styles. I've got both styles.
Like the root rake and then the bucket part.
I've got the bucket kind, and then the rake kind.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got the root rake.
I like the rake kind for moving brush. I like the other one I like the bucket style for moving logs.
Yeah, they both have their.
They do.
You can choose one or the other for general everything, or you can focus on what you're going to use it the most.
Yeah.
I chose the rake. Both of mine have been the rake style.
The rake style is just the little one, right?
Yeah, it's just a little root
Yeah,
rake
it's a
like mine.
short front.
What size did you get, Gary, for yours?
I want to say mine's the 6 foot.
A 6 foot? Okay. I was thinking about a 72 inch for the 4058. I don't know if I went 6.
Big.
Wait, 672. That's 6 foot.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about maybe 60 inch. So
I would do the
6 footer. Yeah.
Yeah, but my tractor I think is a little bit bigger. I think than.
Yeah, it is quite a bit bigger. So
for maneuverability, I wouldn't go over 66.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you have a 6 foot bucket, right? Like that came with it, and you can imagine getting in some tight spaces with that 6 foot grapple, especially open it up. And now look how big it is, because you've got what 4 feet now tall and 6 foot wide. So when you make a turn, and that 4058, even though it has a tight turning radius, that's a big boy. And you get in a tight spot, like around trees or around a building or whatever, you may have some trouble maneuvering around.
What have you used on your 4058?
I use my 66-inch Ignite attachments.
Okay.
It worked. It's almost perfect because even though I have widened that tractor out as far as you can widen it without adding spacers. That
Okay.
66-inch fits the front profile of the front wheel.
That's what I'm looking for. I don't want to be out past like I am with the bucket. I want to be a little bit inside of that, I think.
Now, I'm not trying to talk you out of a 6 foot. I'm just knowing what I know.
mhm.
You may eventually end up going, "Wow, I shouldn't have done that."
Yeah.
'Cause I know tons of people that made that bad decision. In the world of grapples, wide is not always better. A 48-inch grapple will pick up and move the exact same weight and the exact same material that a 7 foot will. A lot of people don't stop and think about that, but
Mhm.
the capacity is still there in a smaller package. So when you're if you're going to be in a tight quarters like wooded trails or around buildings or going between stuff, really need to think about those kind of things there because your maneuverability is cut short, or you may wreck something you didn't mean to wreck. You know what I mean? Burn.
Yeah.
Also look at uh, the grapple top, right?
Mhm.
Is it one with two cylinders? Is it one with one cylinder? Is it two separate? You know, like
I
so.
think I want the two
Mine's a
on mine.
clam.
That's what I've been wanting.
Mine's a clam with two
That's what
cylinders
mine is.
on each end,
Okay.
and then
Mine's
my Ironcraft one is uh, the two. So like I can have an uneven log. Like I can get a log with a big butt on it, and it's still that is true. The grapple does not care
Yep.
on each end.
Yep.
yeah.
That's very true.
Well, I just see here I can get a 60, 66-inch, 72-inch, and 78-inch. So they have 66-inch at Ironcraft, and I prefer to stick with Ironcraft for my stuff. So, uh, and it's a root grapple, which I think would be probably best for um, taking out the trees that I want to take out around here, as well as on that building project. I think it would be better to come in and reach down and grab something and pull it back to help tear down the building.
Well, you can go back to one of my videos when we're doing some clearing.
Mm-hmm.
You can see I uprooted trees with my grapple, and
Nice.
mine's the clam, but it's the root rake, but it's the
Okay.
Ironcraft. I want to say it's 6 foot, but don't quote me on that. I'd have to go measure it to be exact.
Well, that's a good thing to talk about. I think for one of our um, videos here or podcasts here is uh, the differences between the clam and then the what do they call it with the two separate
Yeah. So
tops on
The
it.
split lid.
that's called a root grapple, and then there's a rake grapple.
Okay, and that's a part of the differentiation too. It's got a shorter bottom to it, and that's the
Yeah.
root, and then it's got the two top, the split lid, like Marty just said.
No, mine don't. Mine's got the
Yeah.
Mine's
clam.
got one. Mine's got one.
Okay.
The rake has one.
I wonder what's more beneficial though for doing everything, kind of an everything grapple.
That-
I doing an everything grapple. I would say the root grapple. That would be my opinion.
Yeah,
With the
because you
single
kind of
top.
got to.
But people call them all kind of different things, but basically they fall in two categories, and that's a root bucket and a root rake. Uh, and I get that question a lot from new owners and stuff wanting to search out a new grapple, and I always ask them what is your main purpose going to be? What do you plan on doing with it the most? Not, I mean, the grapple will do 100,000 different things, but what is your main focus?
Mhm.
You know, and Greg, in your case, you're about to tear down a building. You also want to get stuff out of the ground, and you probably want to move some trees,
Mhm.
right? So
Yep.
a root bucket would benefit you the most, and probably a dual lid because you're going to deal with abnormal sized stuff, especially
Yeah.
with that building.
Mhm.
In my case, I don't want a root bucket grapple, because it, my rake grapples, both of them. This is my second one. Um, my first one was not an Ignite. It was a 48 inch. But both of mine will pick up logs fairly easy. And I'm not trying to talk you into a rake. I'm just explaining to those that may be watching what there is a difference. So a rake grapple will allow you to get closer to your material. With a root bucket, you've got your bottom jaw shelf sticking way out.
You're gonna have to curl more to get underneath stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's also a lot harder to get underneath something with a root bucket. If you've never have used a root bucket grapple, it it's sometimes difficult until you get the feel for it and know how far to dip that leading edge down underneath the stuff, and then push forward. Because there's a trick to that. Because if you think you're just going to run up there and put it on the ground and shove, I got news for you. You're going to have a learning episode. But with a rake, you can go right up to the log, close your clamp, close your lid, curl it backwards, and pick it up, and it goes with you. Now, my first one wasn't that good until I added my own teeth. I made a video on that, by the way, if anybody wants to watch it. But I added my own teeth because it was too slick jawed. And when I tested this Ignite Attachments prototype for 3 months, uh, it was already set up perfect, in my opinion. And I don't have a problem at all with this particular root rake grapple for that reason. Because with 280 acres of trails, we deal a lot with broken limbs, uh, some fallen trees. Some of them are huge that just aged out. Lightning struck them or something, and they some of them are 2-3 feet diameter. So we had to cut them up in smaller pieces for the tractor to even pick them up, because of the weight. But knock on wood, I haven't had any trouble with a rake grapple doing all of the above. But a rake grapple shines in brush and junk, and even tearing down a building. Uh, I have done that too. It didn't really have a problem, but like in Greg's case, he would probably benefit from a root bucket with a longer bottom jaw and a dual individual lids for abnormal shaped stuff.
Okay.
So we do a lot of brush clearing here with ours, and I've got the root rake with the clam, and it works pretty good. I mean, for what I do here, it's easier to get up underneath the debris.
So I have both, only because the LS came with the root style. I wouldn't have both unless it did, but so I have I have both. But I will say that the root rake style, I can come in and come down on top of logs and close it and pull it back. And so I don't have to get up underneath anything and try to get in the front. I can go to the top. So even if I have logs that are close together, I could go in from the front, scoop the log back, and then come all the way down and get it and move. And moving brush, so I can have it closed, and I can put it in the middle of the brush, and I can push a whole big huge brush pile if I need to, or I can have it open and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know
that's what we was doing.
It's not a bulldozer.
I have a fun fact. I want to throw a fun fact out there. Sometimes, not when it's this hot, but when it's cooler weather and I get bored, I'll take my tractor and grapple, go down the ditch, and pick up trash. I mean, I'm wasting diesel fuel, but it's my diesel fuel. And
Yep.
Yep.
I'll go down through the ditch and I'll just reach
It's
down there and pick up something. You know, practice. It helps with the staying in
Yeah. It's
practice.
driving a tractor is a skill. Like, it's a skill that we have to hone, right? I've got I don't think I showed it in last week's video, or the video where I showed the driveway and the road that I had to rebuild. But the
Those are your day meds.
but somebody, I don't know, years past had dumped stuff. I'm gonna try to get it out with the grapple, like a washer and dryer, to see if I can get it.
Well, that makes sense, though. I mean, that's a great use for it.
Yeah, and moving logs, and I've seen guys building pole barns, putting the posts in the middle of them and lifting them up and putting them in the hole.
I did see that once on somebody's video. I don't know whose, but yeah, I was impressed by that.
Who did that?
Oh.
But grapples that's a big controversy too, because everybody has their opinion about one grapple versus the other. But
Yeah.
6-1 the other.
yes. Yep. But it's all in how you use it. It's just like a tractor. Everybody's like, oh, you should have a huge tractor for what you do. And I'm like, I'm good with the two I have. And if I just had the one, I would have been fine with 2515 and the old Ford. Would have got by. But the LS fell in my lap. So
That's a good tool to have in your arsenal too. I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and our thought was that I might have gone out and bought a mini excavator. This had a backhoe. He had an equipment trailer. He had a 6-foot brush hog, another grapple, some other stuff with it. And it was like, at the end of the day, I was like, well, why don't I just buy this? And then I have a whole nother tractor that's twice the amount of horsepower. So.
And it was a package deal, probably.
And it was a package deal.
Yeah.
And now I can, most of the time the LS stays in Tennessee. I can keep the TYM here and use it around here, because the LS has got ag tires on it. It's not meant for around this. Homestead here is only 4 acres and it's mostly woods. So up in Tennessee makes much more sense to have it up there.
And that's why I think I would like another tractor, an open station, because there's times when you could use that other tractor to move an implement. So say I have to haul in two loads to somebody's house I'm doing work at or whatever. Well, once the tractor's off the property, how am I going to load the next implement up on the trailer unless I call somebody to come down with their tractor and do it? So it would be kind of nice to have a second machine.
So I'm doing that this weekend. So we're taking the camper to Tennessee, so I'll have somewhere to stay again. And then I will leave the TYM up there, but I have a set of forks up there. I have the grapple, and I have obviously the bucket, right? So I have those up there. And then I have the box blade here. I have a couple of things here. I'm just going to bring the trailer home. And then next week, the weekend of Labor Day, I'm going to put some implements on the trailer with the LS, and then I have the TYM to take them off.
Yeah. So. That's nice. I think it's ideal, really.
Yeah. Because the TYM and the LS lift capacity is only about 500 pounds difference, which is crazy.
It's not too shabby.
All right. Yeah. So another comment about grapples here. There is, never met a bad grapple. That is true.
I think that's a good investment.
I think I think if anybody ever asked me, like, okay, I got a bucket, so I've got a loader and everything, what's the first thing that I get? Pallet forks. Get pallet forks. So you can do anything, you can do all kinds of stuff with a pallet fork. If you don't have a grapple, I think the second thing you would get for the front is a grapple. Definitely.
That would be a good idea.
No, I have used my hay forks for like pallet forks, but
yeah, I've got a few. I've got 2 sets of pallet forks, but we'll tell that story another time. How that happened. So, anyways, I appreciate everybody that joined us tonight. We're gonna do this every week, same time, same bat channel, as they would say.
That's what I was thinking.
So do appreciate you. Would love anybody that check out all of our channels, and we will see y'all next week.
And of course, let's tell our fellows in chat that they're, to get with us and welcome to join us.
Yes,
on here
absolutely.
too.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to be a guest and join us and talk tractors and stuff, just let us know.
Mm-hmm.
All
Nothing
right,
to it. This was
I
all
enjoyed it,
unscripted.
gentlemen.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed
it's
it.
been fun.
Yep.
It was a good time.
Educational.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll see everybody later.
Okay. We'll see you.
All right.
All right.
See you later.